So how was my first half marathon experience? I would say overall, like it was a good experience because it gave me something to work towards. At the beginning of the year, I wouldn't have been able to run, probably past like 3 miles. Um, but the training and the time that I put between January and June, I slowly ramped that up. And I have to give a big shout out to Matt. He made me rise to the occasion and rise to the challenge. I didn't want to perform poorly. I wanted it to be competitive. So I made sure to train, between the beginning of the year all the way up, leading up to the event. So how did I train? I ran 3 times a week: one recovery run, one pace run, and one distance run. So for the recovery run, my goal for that was just to run at a chill pace. Like a chill pace for me would probably be around 11 to 12 minutes a mile. I could probably do that indefinitely. So I would do that for maybe like I don't know, like a mile two. Not that long. I don't want to spend too much time. But that was the goal of the recovery run, was to just to help my legs recover and just to remind them like, hey, we're still doing this running thing. The second type of run was the pace run. So the goal of that was to keep a consistent pace, whether that was 10 minutes, 9 minutes, whatever the pace was, or whatever the goal was. I've been running with a metronome, and that's been helping a lot. So my goal is to try to hit like 160 beats per minute. And then the last run is the distance run. So I'll try to run anywhere between, I would say, like 6 to 7 miles, all the way up to 13. And I've been doing that more frequently, especially like after the half marathon. Yeah, that's been good. I've been trying to do one 13-mile distance once a month. It's just to complete the Strava challenge. So for my first half marathon, what was my time? My time was 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 2 seconds with a pace. So with the average, I'm gonna assume this is average pace of 10 minutes and 9 seconds. And I think overall, I was pretty happy with the time. I'm pretty happy like with that as like a baseline. But then looking at all these stats of who signed up and kind of the breakdown of the demographic, I'm like, oh, you know what? My time is not very good compared to my peers. I think I was like towards the bottom of the 25 to 29 range in terms of like the finish time. If I just look at my time, by itself, really happy with the time. But comparing it to other people, it's like I could have done better. Which I'm hoping for the next race I'll do better. One big thing that I noticed looking at this data is like the ratio between like girls and guys. There were a lot more girls than guys. I think for every 40 guys, there were like 60 girls. So I thought that was interesting, seeing that data point. For this next part of the video, I wanted to split it into 3 parts: before the race, during the race, and after the race. So before the race, I noticed that for people running the half marathon, like everyone was just like super fit. Like it was. I've never been around that many like fit people. There were probably like, well, a little over 900 people like signed up for the race. So seeing like that many folks ready to run a half marathon, that was like really like inspirational to see. Also before the race, someone noticed that I was wearing my Cal Poly, what do you call this, jersey, and I'm not affiliated with Cal Poly now, but I just like this jersey because it looks cool, and it's a cool jersey that I got from the band. Shout out to the Mustang band. Yeah, I thought it was appropriate to wear on race day because I don't know, I just thought it looks cool. So yeah, someone knows that I went to Cal Poly. During the race, shout out to all of the sons that participated in the race. The sons on like as in the sons that raced for their dad. The sons were probably like, I don't know, I want to say like 10 years old. These sons like had a lot of energy in the race. Like they gapped, like I'm pretty sure all the 10-year-olds like in the race probably gapped me at some point. And I think that was like super inspirational, to see dads racing with their sons. So I thought that was really cool to see. I got gapped a lot during the race by a lot of people, and I think if you're gonna run any marathon, half marathon, or any distance, get used to getting gapped unless you're like, one of the people, towards the front. So mile 1 through 6, I wasn't used to stopping for water, so I think if you're doing your first, marathon or half marathon, I probably would have stopped more often to get more water, but I wasn't used to stopping, drinking the water, and then like restarting my pace. That was a little bit annoying because the start and the stop is a little bit hard on my legs at least. We had someone, I want to say he was like in his 60s. Someone approached me like during the race, probably during mile like 2 or 3. He was like, "Oh hey, my daughter went to Cal Poly, majoring in graphics communication. Like she just graduated this year." And then he was talking about how like she moved to Seattle. I think it was Seattle, Washington, somewhere in that area. And I was like, "Oh, cool. My sister, also majored in the same thing." So we had a little bit of a conversation, and it seemed like pretty it seemed like he was pretty relaxed because he wanted to like run ahead of me. So after a little conversation, he was like, "All right, have a good race," and then he went ahead. Um, I'd be I'm kind of curious, how his time was. Mile 1 through 6, I would say I the adrenaline kept me through mile 1 through 6. I think my split, I was around 9 minutes for those first 6 miles. So mile 1 through 6 was pretty good. Mile 7 through 10, that's when the adrenaline started to run out for me. And I think mile 7, I went to the restroom, which might have killed my time a little bit. I don't know. I probably added, I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds to my time. So I had to go to the restroom. During this 7 to 10 mile period, I was trying to keep up with the 2 hour pacemaker. So throughout the whole race, they have these pacemakers to make sure that, like what time you're like, if you have like a 2 hour goal in mind, that pacemaker will run. As long as you keep up with them, yeah, as long as you keep up with them, you'll hit that time. So I was trying to keep up with the 2 hour pacemaker. I think I did a decent job, like on mile like 7 and 8. But I started to lose them at around mile 9 and 10. So I think I could have done a better job at that. Mile 10 was when my right calf was really starting to hurt, and I remember it getting like shot at around mile 10. Felt like someone like stabbed my right calf, and that did not feel good. It was like a sharp pain, and so I was forced to like run walk, which at that point, I was mostly running through the whole thing. I think I might have stopped once, maybe around like mile 5 or 6, and then I stopped to go to the restroom at around mile 7, like 6 or 7. But right at around mile 10, that's when right calf got shot. Had to start doing the run walk. Keep in mind that when I was training during the distance run, I was doing a run walk, so I would run a kilometer, walk for like I don't know 2 minutes, like 1 to 2 minutes, and then I would run another kilometer. And so I would just keep doing that until I reached the goal distance for that day. Um, so during race day, like I wasn't used to running um, throughout the whole thing and not walking, because I saw other people around me like walk or not walk. I saw other people around me like run like through the whole thing and not stop, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta keep up with everyone. I think in the future, just do what you train to do, to prevent injuries. So yeah, sharp pain around mile 10, and it didn't help that at around this time, that was when it was going through the uphill part, um, up Main Street, and so that didn't help at all either. And so I was forced to run at around a 12 um, minute per mile pace, which for me is like a recovery run. So the rest of the race, I had to, if I was not walking, I was running at my recovery pace, which is not ideal. For after the race, I'll let my past self, because I did a little bit of recording, after the race. So I'll let myself take care of that. I did it. My time was 2:13. My my legs are really cramming towards the end at around like I don't know, like the 9 or 10 mile mark. Like I could feel my body take energy from like other parts like my arms. So That was a strange feeling, but yeah, I'm gonna have to really practice um, having energy towards the end because I was like so tired. I think I was doing okay like the first like 7 or 8. I try to keep pace with the two the 2 hour pacemaker, but lost track of them. Whew, did it.
Starting normal recording. All right. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh, man. Okay. Wi-Fi hotspot unavailable. Oh, jeez.
So I tried to get in the car and I really cramped up my right calf. So I'm just chilling near the mission, stretching, because I don't think I can drive right now. So yeah, just gonna continue doing that. So I think I'm happy with my time because I beat my personal record during like practice. But when I see the rankings, I was like, oh, I did kind of bad. Well, compared to other people, and I'm just like, wow, comparison really is really robs your uh, your happiness. So I think overall, I think it did pretty good for the first half marathon. I think I know what to work on now for next time. Yeah, just walking around, make sure I don't get cramped and I can actually drive home.